Good morning. It is Monday, the 13th of January, 2020, first day of class. Welcome. I'm David Myers. I'll be your instructor for Introduction to Ethics, and I'm really excited to have you in this class. And if you think I'm kidding, I've been so bored since the last semester ended. Um, I'm not kidding. So, right now, D2L is crawling at a snail's pace. But let's talk about my expectations for you, as well as trying to anticipate any questions that you may have for this class. Now, the first thing that we need to discuss is, email. Check your email daily, hopefully more than daily. But you need to check your email very often because I will communicate um, quite a bit. I don't have a ton of other things going on. I take the class very seriously. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, dear Lord, it's just one class. Well, it's just one class to you, but for me, it's more than just one class. I deeply care about my students and I deeply care um, about this course. That being said, again, check your mail at least daily. One excuse that I often hear from students is, um, well, I wasn't aware. I'll get on there and remind you that the test is open. I'll send emails saying, hey, you know, we need to get the discussions flowing or whatever. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about how the course is set up. I mean, it's an online course, and you're saying to yourself, well, how hard can it possibly be? The truth is that it can be fairly difficult. I mean, the reading is incredibly intensive. This is your textbook, Ethics, Theory, and Practice. This is the 11th edition, the updated 11th edition. My goodness, this poor professor has been dead for years, and yet I think he's been dead since the 9th edition, and yet we've had the 10th, the 11th. Many of you probably have the um, online textbook. And I'll be, as soon as we're done with this video, as soon as I've posted it, I'm going to be sending out an invitation to the entire class. Um, for those of you who have the online textbook, you'll need to log in that way to access it. But at any rate, the reading can be intensive. The papers aren't too bad. The tests are difficult, but I've taken steps to alleviate your fears. And, well, they'll still be difficult, but I've got some workarounds. That being said, let's again talk about D2L. You'll call the course up, which you obviously have if you're watching this video. Um, Seems to be cutting off the top of my head, which is probably good, so you're not being blinded by the glare from my forehead. But you'll see on the table of contents, you will see instructor info. If you want to know more about me, read that. The introduction and expectation video. This is one of 3 places where you can click this and find this video. And the syllabus and schedule. Syllabus and schedule is extremely important, and we'll be going over that shortly. You will also, under the table of contents, you will find the chapter PowerPoints. Now, I don't write these. I didn't write these. They come directly from the textbook company, which is Pearson VUE. And they're quite good. I would recommend going over the PowerPoints. They may make the reading a little bit more bearable, a little easier. I got to adjust this. It's driving me crazy. There you go. You can now see my entire head. At any rate, the chapter PowerPoints. Um, Use them. You will then you'll find 4 textbook chapters. I've already had emails from a couple of students saying, well, I don't have my book yet. It's okay. The entire first section, I have page by page, run it through the scanner and come up with PDF documents. I will not do this for more than 4 chapters. It's 1, it's illegal, and 2, it's unethical. This is an ethics class. Um, and you need to get a textbook. It won't take long. You can either get it at the bookstore, you can get the online version, or go to Amazon. Frankly, I don't care if you use this one. Hold on a minute. Do 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 do. Come on, guys. Where are the other ones? Aha! I don't care if you use the 8th edition, which is like this one. Do, do, do. I don't care if you use the 9th edition. Do, do, do. Or the 10th edition. Any of these will work for the course. Get whichever one you can borrow or get off Amazon used. This one and the online, they are so expensive. Um, and frankly, any of these will do. And you're saying, but Dave, you can call me Dave. You can call me Dr. Myers. You can call me Mr. Myers. You can call me Myers. You can call me Dave. You can call me David. You can call me Davy. Just don't call me late for supper. But I know these dad jokes are really corny, but I've had 6 children, raised them with my wife, of course. I didn't do it alone. And in fact, I was at sea for the vast majority of the hard work. My wife did most of that by herself. Um, but we have 6 children and 10 grandchildren, 3 dogs, and a cat. And so, which, I'm full of dad jokes. But at any rate, get whichever book you can get a hold of. Now, you're thinking, what about the pagination and the assignments? The assignments are taken from this one or from the online one because these are the same. Not a problem, because for the assignments, I've given you templates that you can download and use. And so I've also tried to put the pagination in whenever possible. Okay, back to this D2L. Down here, you will see that I've done lecture videos for each chapter, 2 for chapter 1. And then you'll see the assignments, and you'll scroll down, you'll see ethics problems, which describes the ethic problem in general that you'll be doing. Then section 1, ethic problem, 2, and section 3. Those are the templates. Grab it, fill it out, use it. Instructions for discussion board, instructions for examinations, instructions for required reading, and instructions for extra credit. I've tried to anticipate any question that you could possibly have. Now, the syllabus is also a great source. I've page checked each one of these to make sure the dates are correct. I'm positive you'll find something that's not correct. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. If you have Disney Plus, you know that's from Kim Possible. I loved watching that with my youngest daughter. But text me, call me, shoot me an email, and I will answer it with your questions. And in fact, let's talk about this right now. If you feel you're getting behind, that is my phone. Um, I'm going to ignore that and continue talking. It's Shane probably calling to tell me about D2L being fixed because now it seems to be going a little faster. But hold on. Hi, Shane.
Hey Dave, we're zippy quick again.
I know I'm on and I'm filming a video for my students. Say hello, Shane.
Hi,
Shane,
welcome to class.
Shane says hi. All right, thanks for calling me. I appreciate it.
See you, Dave. Bye.
Bye bye. Usually, I wear hearing aids. I'm deaf in one completely, and very hard of hearing in the other. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Um, but usually my phone is set to ring in my hearing aids, and imagine I forget, like yesterday. My main job, I'm a pastor. I pastor one of the churches in Bemidji, and I was preaching, and the next thing you knew, that went off in my ears. about I about wet myself. But at any rate, I'll try to get back to the task at hand. I'm saying that all of the answers to 99.9% of the questions can be found right here on the website. You know, I really get annoyed when students tell me, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't know that I was supposed to do my assignments in double spaced, and I didn't know that they were required to be." It's all right there. It's all here. It's all in the syllabus, and it's on this video. And so, anyway, I was saying, call me if you have a problem. Students don't like to call. They really don't. For some reason, um, and when they do, they always say, "Oh, Dr. Myers, I'm so sorry to bother you." You're not bothering me. I get paid to have this kind of interaction with you. Furthermore, I do have office hours, and I will be at the Tech on Wednesdays from noon until class if you want to see me. Or I'll meet you at the Tech um, at your convenience. Just shoot me a text, an email, call me, and tell me what time, and we'll meet. We can either meet in my office or we can meet in the cafeteria, whichever. But my time is your time. You're not bothering me unless you call after 9 at night. You may have noticed I got white hair. I'm older. I go to bed at 9. I know that's ridiculous, but it's true. I go to bed at 9, except on Wednesdays because we're lecturing until 8:55 on Wednesdays. Which brings me to another point. You are doing an online 7-week intense course. And if you feel a little stressed, you're always welcome to sit in on my Wednesday evening class, 6 to 9, basically, 6 to 8:55. Love to see you there. No student has ever taken me up on it, but you are welcome to. All right. So before you call me with questions, I want you to go through, if you got questions about required reading, I want you to click on required reading, yada, yada, yada. Let's go over the syllabus together. I'm going to click on it and we'll see how quickly it opens. Very quickly. All right, first of all, you have the boilerplate information. The name of the school, the address, this course number. Fall up. It says fall. I just found my first mistake. I'll have to change it. It should say, spring semester, and it will right after this. It runs 13 January to 6 March 2020. That's exactly 7 weeks. I'm the instructor, David Myers. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of the State of New York, Albany. I hold MRS, an MA, and an MDiv from Southern California Seminary and Luther Rice Seminary in Atlanta, and a Doctor of Divinity. It even has my cell phone number because I want you to feel free to call. Don't share it with everybody in the world, but um, you're free to call to ask any questions. Usually only the older adult students will call. All of you are welcome to call. Don't be shy. We have a course description, which I'm not going to read line for line because that's boring and you're literate, so you read it. There are no prerequisites for this course, although we've talked about making college writing a prerequisite because there are papers involved. I used to have a term paper, but I've done away with it since students seem to be terrified of term papers. I don't think in the long run I'm doing you any favors because if you're going to go on for a bachelor's, master's, doctorate, you're going to be writing papers. And if you're in the nursing courses, you're going to be writing papers there as well. But instead, I have substituted 3 papers of, a minimum of 4 pages each. And we'll go over those assignments in just a couple of minutes. But writing is important, but there are no prereqs. You'll need to have one of the books, um, must have it. For the first week or two, you can get by with what I've given you. But after that, then it talks a little bit about guidelines and information, academic honesty. Don't cheat and don't plagiarize. Plagiarism, I'm going to read it right from here, is presenting someone else's words, ideas, or data as your own work. Fabrication, using invented information, fake news, or falsifying research or other findings. So just don't do it. We don't have a term paper, and frankly, all you need to do is cite your source to avoid plagiarism because mostly it's research anyway. So you're going to be using someone else's work. Just document it, just cite your sources and don't cheat. All right? This is an ethics class. Don't cheat. I say that, but I have to tell you that I've been teaching this course since 2005 or 2006 here at Northwest Tech, along with bioethics, and I used to teach cultural anthropology. But um, I've actually had, during the lecture course, I've had security and police come into my classroom and take a student away in handcuffs because that student was downloading music from the tech using the text network in my class, illegally downloading in an ethics class. So don't cheat. The exams are difficult, but it is open book. You won't cheat if you use your book, but you may not use notes. I'll talk more about that when we come up to the test, but just don't do it. Let's see. Don't take a test for anyone else, or don't let anyone take a test for you. Don't collaborate on an assignment. So at any rate, you read those, but they're important. Attendance. All right, this is an online course, so I measure attendance by 2 things. The first is the attendance board that's located in the discussion section. Um, you must sign in weekly. You must. If you don't sign in the first week, I will have to drop you for non-participation. So sign in the first week and every week after that, because I'll take a point off your overall score for each week that you don't sign in. And you can't do it at the last minute. You need to sign in each week. That way I know that you're tracking. The other way is ensuring that your work is turned in promptly. If you are posting on the message board and I look and see that you're posting each week or whatever, and I see you haven't signed in on the attendance board, I'll still know that you're tracking it. I'm not going to subtract a point. But people seem to want to wait to the last possible second to make their posts. And so we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. I will be lecturing for this course. You will have to read for this course. You will have to do other things as well. You'll be on the discussion boards. You'll be writing papers and taking exams. But the instruction is delivered primarily by you. You can watch my videos. You can watch other videos that are recommended by the textbook. Lots of students do that, by the way. They get more out of it when they put more into the course. If all you're looking for is 3 units of credit, you can do that. But if you're actually looking to grow as a result of this course, you'll have to put some stuff into it. You'll spend 6 to 8 hours a week basically taking this course. The reading is tough and it will take you a while. So there are measurable course outcomes. It talks about critical thinking, ethical and civic responsibility, methods to assess competence, required reading, objective examinations, and ethics problem assignments. Now listen to me. It says objective examinations. Hopefully you understand the difference between objective and subjective. We'll be talking a lot about that in the class. You don't want subjective exams. I've done it in the past where everything's an essay. You know how long it takes to grade 40 essay philosophy papers? Um, no, it's multiple choice. The tests are all online, obviously, since you're going to be taking them. And, they're not my answers, they're taken directly from the textbook. So, and then discussion boards. So, 4 ways that I assess competence. You will not need a proctor for the exams. You're either honest or you're not. I'm trusting you. But I will say this, um, you know, cheating is grounds for immediate failure of the course. The assignments, let's talk about those now. Reading report. Reading report is very important. It's worth 10 points, 10% of your grade. By the way, the course is set up 0 to 100 points. That's it. So 10 points is your reading report. It is not due, listen to me, it is not due, I'm pounding my foot 3 times. If I lecture that way, that means write this down. It's not due to the last week of the course. I don't want to see, well, I completed 10% of chapter 1, 20%. Just give me the ballpark. I completed 100% of the assigned reading, and I'll give you 10 points. That's all. You put it onto a Word document and you place it in the appropriate assignments folder. I used to say Dropbox, but apparently Dropbox, I know Dropbox is a program, but many of you are so used to the Dropbox program that it was confusing, and we've been told, don't say that anymore. So I'm not saying it. Place it in the appropriate folder. And that's it, 1 line. I, student's name, completed whatever percentage of the reading you completed. Now, I have to warn you, if you say I completed 20% of the reading, you will get 2 points. 2 points. I have to say this because a number of years ago, a student said that they completed 20% of the reading, and then I gave them 2 points, thinking that it was incredibly obvious. But the student filed a grievance, a complaint, because the student said that they felt that they had been honest and they deserved 10 points for being honest and they should have cheated. Well, they put that in writing. And the dean was like, cheating in an ethics class. I should have cheated in an ethics class, and he did not show any mercy. But the result was that I have to put this out in writing and tell you. And so what you tell me is what you get. But don't turn it in the first week. Turn it in the last week. All right? That's when it's due. In fact, in the syllabus, it gives you dates. Also on the calendar and the course, it gives you dates. Let's see, the required reading is due the 29th of February, which is the last day of the course. You could turn it in earlier as long as you've done, all the reading you're planning to do. But you may not turn it in later because the class is over on that day. So the reading report due 29 February. Discussions. The course is divided into 3 sections. Each section consists of 4 chapters. There are 16 chapters in the text. We cannot, in 7 or 8 weeks, go over 16 chapters. So I limit it to 12. The first 12. So section 1 is chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. In your discussions, what I expect you to do is in section 1, choose something that jumps out at you, that interests you, and write a short post about it. You're going to make 2 original postings, minimum 2. If you make 5, you're still only being graded for 2. But again, you get out of this course what you put into it. So 2 original posts and 4 responses to others' posts. You're also required, write this down, to read all the posts. You must, or you'll lose as many as 4 points out of 10. And so each section, 6 minimum posts plus reading the posts. Bingo. Don't wait to the last minute to submit these. If you do, no one can respond to the post. No one can read to the post if they're like me and they go to bed at a reasonable hour, or many are working and the posts have to be in by midnight. If you write it at 11:52 and somebody doesn't get off till midnight, they're not going to get home and be able to read them. And so get them in early. But I know statistically a bunch of you won't. And so the discussions are due by the close of the section. So that means that 1 February, the discussions for section 1 need to be done. Now, I'm not going to get up on Sunday morning and grade them. All right? You have all day Sunday to read the others' posts. You may not submit new posts, but on Sunday, you can take the time to read the post that came in last minute. All right, now I can tell on D2L who has read what. All right, I can tell. I know if you've been sleeping. I really don't. But I do know if you've been reading. I know how long you spent reading. And so, all the time, students will turn in the required post and not read a single one and then wonder why they only got 6 points out of 10. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to read them. It's in 3 different places. Here, the syllabus, and the instructions for discussions. All right, let's see. Examinations. Course is broken into 3 sections, each divided into 4 chapters of the textbook. Each section has a corresponding examination consisting of 10% of the final grade. Added up, these examinations are 30% of your grade. 30% comes from discussions, 30% from exams. The exams are difficult. To that end, there are practice exams for each chapter. You may take them as many times as you wish, even if all you're doing is memorizing them, getting the answers and the questions stored in your noodle. Now, I don't use all of the practice questions, but I guarantee you that every exam is taken exclusively from the practice tests. What you see is what you get. So if you do the reading, if you do the practice exams, and if you look at the chapter lectures and PowerPoints, you will excel at the exams. So now somebody is not going to do it. They're not gonna until after the first test. What will happen then is, oh, what can I do? I have because I don't want you worried constantly about the exams. I don't want you worried about anything, but I'd rather you concentrated on the discussions and the reading in your papers. And so there's extra credit. If you get a 40, and there are always students that do the extra credit, and it will raise your exam up to a 70. All right, a passing grade. Because that's how we grade in this. It's, you know, um, 50 to 60 is an F, 50 to 59 is an F, 60 to 69 is a D, 70 to 79 is a C, and so forth. I know nursing has different standards, but this is not a nursing course, even though um, I, and I didn't say this in the introduction, but I am a nurse, and guess where I went to school? I went to Northwest Tech for nursing, and I hold the LPN, Associate of Applied Science, and the RN, um, Associate of Science degrees. I know what it's like to go through this program, and I get it. But this is not a nursing course per se, although I do discuss content with the nurse staff because I want to help them and you to excel. So that's the examinations. The ethics problems, you will choose write this down, one of the ethics problems found in each section. So in section number 1, you will choose either chapter 1's ethics problem, why be moral, on page 28, or if you're using an earlier version, just get the template. You might want to do that even if you have the same version. Chapter 2, you can choose would you throw the switch on page 44. Chapter 3, would you kill for the sake of duty on page 59. And then chapter 4, bullying, what should you do? I don't care which one you choose, but just choose one and write a minimum of 4 pages. And I am a stickler for 4 full pages. You get points for each page, and I will subtract points if it is not 4 full pages. Now that's double spaced, so really that's about 2 pages. But um, you know, formatting is not as important as content. If you've had college writing, use that format. But don't quadruple space the paragraphs. It's 4 pages of content. And so if you come up with exactly 4 pages and you've written down the questions, and that takes up 3 paragraphs, and then you've spaced it so I only count your answers. 4 pages of content. Okay, do we understand each other? This is in lieu of a term paper, so do your best. Answer the questions that are set up by the text. Don't just write an essay on bullying is bad. Answer the specific questions from the assignment. 4 pages. They're due on the last day of each section by midnight. So your exams, which I didn't say, they'll open up on Monday really Sunday night, the way normal people think, at midnight, at 12:01 Monday night, and they close at 11:59 on the next Saturday. Each of the exams is open for 6 days. And so all of your assignments are due on the last day of that cycle. So, I've got section 1 broken down, section 2 and section 3. That's how you know. And just do one. Sometimes students will do all 3 and they'll try to fit them all into 4 pages. Don't do it. Okay, I marked down brutally for that. You need to put your best effort into this, and I can tell. I've been teaching since 1997. Um, I can tell when you've put your best effort into it. I've taught at Northwest Tech for quite some time, but before I moved to Bemidji, I taught at Christian Heritage College in San Diego. I've taught at Vincennes University, at Central Texas College, um, Southern Illinois University. Uh, I've been teaching for a long time, and I've been teaching ethics and philosophy at both secular and religious colleges for a long time. So put your best effort into it. Let's see, we've talked about grading, we talked about course schedule. Um, you can find all of this in your syllabus. All the important information is there. That being said, let's quickly go to, well, you can't really do much while you're watching the video, but if you go to the course itself, you'll see all of this stuff on the first page. You will see welcome. And, it says, please read all of the items found in the content section completely and thoroughly. Do that. I have an article here. Don't always strive to be great. Strive to be consistent. Read that. It's pretty interesting. There's also an invitation address for the online textbook. You'll find the introduction video right there in one place. It talks about the weekly attendance board. By the way, you need to sign in each week, as I said, but these posts you don't all have to read. Only the assigned posts need to be read. And I think that pretty much covers everything. Call me if you have questions or concerns, always, or text or email. But I think the course is set up in a fairly easy to understand manner. And one more thing. When you're in the discussions, I don't want to hear about how difficult the reading is. Okay, I know it's difficult. I know the text is dull, and I know that it is difficult. It is a 3-unit philosophy class. And so 3-unit philosophy class is meant to be difficult. The reading, chapters 1 through 7, I'm told, are mind-numbingly boring, but they are necessary to set up the textbook for chapters 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. If you're going to discuss them, I want you to discuss them from the foundation of these different ethical systems. And you'll be talking a lot about different ethical systems. And you'll be reading a lot. Here's the other deal. Sometimes I read the final reading report, and they'll say, well, I read it all, but I can't say that I understood it all. I don't expect you to understand it all. You are, for the most part, freshmen and sophomores. Philosophy texts are always difficult to read. Sometimes definitions that you thought you understood are different in philosophy. It's the same for law, it's the same for medicine. Things sometimes that you thought you knew, you find out there's a different definition. Philosophy takes 2 to 3 readings. Now, I don't have time for that. Well, okay, you don't, and I don't expect you to master this material. Just read it. Do your best in conjunction with the lecture and the other things. That's reading it. I don't expect you to master it, so don't worry about that. And don't continually talk about how boring or how difficult the reading was. I have no sympathy for that because it's expected in a 3-unit course. I know some students, well, I'm only a nursing student and I don't care about anything else. Well, it's my job, that you care about this stuff. And so I'll do the very best I can to help you. But again, I don't have a lot of empathy for that and I don't like reading it. So again, I know it's boring. I know it's difficult. But I don't find it boring, but many students do. So have a great semester. And, well, again, don't hesitate to contact me. Bye bye.